All right, class is in session. It's going to be a quick one. This is Chris Williamson. He was on, I think, Survivor a long time ago. Then he started this podcast, Modern Wisdom. There's a lot of good content on his podcast. But he got famous because he was a hot boy on, I guess, Survivor. That's where he got famous. And now he's doing lots of good stuff on this Modern Wisdom podcast. So he's talking to Dr. Shannon Curry. She, I think, testified in the Johnny Depp case for Johnny Depp. And but what I want to do the video for, I'll make it quick. It's going to be pretty quick. So it basically why you never listen to women in dating advice. And I'm not going to go, I thought she did real good in the Johnny Depp trial, and I think she's a really beautiful woman. But her advice here, I'll just break it down and I'll show you why you just shouldn't listen to it. And again, not because, she's a bad person. I just think that, they lack, women are going to put on their public face or whatever. And they want to try to, counsel you into liking each other. And you can't do that. You can't negotiate desire. Shout out Roll Tomasi. But anyway, I'll show you the things that I disagree with in this, and it'll be pretty quick.
A longitudinal study that was done in a relatively sort of academic setting?
Yes, he did a large-scale longitudinal study, and he's fantastic.
Those three traits were predictive. Conscientiousness, which is being a combination of thoughtful and kind.
I don't want to get too into definitions in case I misstate something, but the way I understand conscientiousness, and there are different personality models, right? And each personality model, and not every personality, there's really no one personality model that has ever gotten it completely right. They've all been dispelled in certain regards. But the way that I see conscientiousness as a whole across different personality models is it's got a couple of things combined. So it's not just nice. Nice to me can also mean low self-esteem, a pushover, trying.
Yeah, a lot of time, I can't remember the guy's name, but right now off the top of my head, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Nice is, people pleaser, doesn't have an identity, doesn't stand on a square. Nice guys usually are guys that, don't want to rock the boat. So women don't like nice guys. That's what she was saying.
Right. Conscientiousness may not even look super smiley friendly. It's more of an action. So to me, it is somebody who's smart enough to actually notice and anticipate somebody's needs. My husband is incredibly observant, and it's something that continues to also bring up admiration. So it's got that observational quality, intelligence, and then also motivation. You can't be lazy.
They're industrious. They go and get things.
Yeah, you're industrious, exactly.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I was trying to sort of interpret it, I guess, into the language of romance. But yes, if you're talking straight up what is conscientiousness, I think good definition. They are
aware.
Psychologically, if there is some sort of perturbation, they end up getting back to baseline in not an insane amount of time. If something occurs, they're able to adapt to it, which is maybe distinct, but kind of sounds a little bit like a subset of agency, which I would put not too far away from conscientiousness.
It is agency.
Well. Right, okay. Yes. So you want highly agentic partner.
You are so smart.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to up my game now. We're on a different level.
And then your final one, you want a degree of openness to new experience. Presumably that's somebody that just doesn't want to sit on their ass all the time. It helps to keep things exciting, but that is something that you can overshoot for. And you end up with someone who is going to be very open sociosexually. They're going to be looking for...
High adventurousness predicts cheating.
Yeah, correct. That's interesting as three traits.
But here's my thing on all that, these traits, these psychological traits. If you have the big D, you have desire, genuine burning desire for one another. We as people know. We know how to mistreat people, and we know how to treat people nice. If you had a boss, and you need the job, you're going to treat him nice. You desire the job. If you don't like your boss, you don't need the job, you're going to treat him like crap. You see it all the time. And what's the law of power? Appeal to people's self-interest, never to their generosity or gratitude. If someone does not have interest, if they can't make a gain out of the relationship, they're not going to give a damn. All this conscientiousness, if they have genuine burning desire to be with you, they will work to be with you. They will be adventurous. They will be open to adventure. They will be, conscientious of your needs. They'll be flexible. I always said this, a lot of times on dating apps when I talk to women, maybe they had an attitude or whatever. And I would say, women know how to behave with the guys they like, and they know how to misbehave with guys they don't like. Women are very clear on what they're doing. Women are very clear because they're very image conscious, reputation management, right? They know when they're misbehaving. They know when they're being a little bitch, and they know when they're being nice. So, so they're nice to the guys they like, and they're, so anyway, let's keep going.
I guess a question would be, let's say that you are on an early date with someone or you're early into a relationship. What are some of the ways that you can adjudicate how much or how little of those traits your partner has?
This is the great question.
Really?
I learned about these. I'm going to speak from my own experience, okay?
And a lot of times,
So
I'll just say this, just like Megyn Kelly, I go in hard. This is a really pretty lady. I mean, she hasn't probably had a whole lot of trouble dating. Now, the what I get from her is, I think she dates a lot of hot guys, or had dated a lot of hot guys. So that's I don't think this lady's been single for too long ever. And so you don't, the reason men learn about women and we know a lot more about women, number one, we're the hunters, but number two is because we know loneliness. When we screw up, there ain't no one coming around, but women can keep screwing, and there's plenty, especially with her, there's plenty of guys that'll come tell her how great she is and date her. And anyway, so I don't think they do deep dives, like men do. But anyway, let's keep going.
Because I knew about these traits before I met Ty. And I absolutely intended to try this out. When I learned about them, I was actually dating somebody. We were not happy. And that person, I would say, lacked these traits.
So the guy lacks conscientious, I think he lacks desire. I think, and they go to this conference, Ty Teixeira, I guess the guy's name, and he does like books on, a psychologist, and he thinks he can, again, I'm not going hard on him, but you can't, you negotiate desire, counseling, couples counseling. This guy's supposed to be a relationship expert, but if you have high desire for each other, you're not going to need a relationship expert. Now, who do you think dragged her guy to this conference? Do you think the guy said, hey, we're not happy right now, let's go to a conference and learn how to be? No, come on, man. She did. And I'll probably tell you, this is my guess. This is a total speculation, but I'm probably right. The reason they're probably not happy is because he's probably pretty hot, and he's not giving not conscious, doesn't give a damn. Not giving in to her demands. He's not changing for her, because a lot of times women want the hot guy to change for her. They want a hot alpha male with a side of beta, Anyway, that's just my opinion. She's like, he doesn't have any of these traits. Yeah, because he doesn't need them. He's got options. All right, let's go.
Both of us probably lack these traits, to be completely fair. But we were in a conference together.
So she's not conscientious. So they were probably just hot banging. Okay, go.
Watching Ty Teixeira speak about this, and I remember sitting there at this conference, not having a particularly good time with the person I was with, and thinking, I can do this. I can follow instructions. And the reason I also thought that was because Ty Teixeira was emphasizing how difficult this is, that our evolutionary brains really want, so if we're talking about a straight female, we want that strong jawline. We want somebody who's all brawn. We want money. We want height. We want protection for our young.
Okay, so what she just described was dual mating strategy. Alpha bang, beta male. She apparently doesn't know it, and she's a psychologist. But beta male provider. She just said instinctual evolutionary desires or something. That's what she said. Okay, that's called human mating. They're not going to change. You're not going to make men like overweight women. You're not going to make women like, fat, broke guys. Well, broke doesn't really matter, but, guys fat with acne because they don't, exercise and live in mom's basement. That's not going to be hot to them. No matter how hard you try to like it, you have these instinctual evolutionary traits over thousands and thousands of years, you can't control them. You will like certain guys and you won't like certain guys. It's like me telling someone, okay, thanks for coming to my whatever. I don't like seafood. I love pizza. So you can't get me to think a shrimp is a piece of pizza. I mean, this is what she's trying to do. Okay, I need a guy with conscientiousness. I just gotta think about it, and I'll like him if I like a guy with conscientiousness. So this shrimp is pizza. Shrimp is pizza. And when you put it in your mouth, that shrimp is gonna be shrimp. Okay, because love, romance, it's chemical. Just like it's a feeling. Just like food, I can't make you hungry. You're either hungry or not hungry. You either like the food or you don't like the food. Okay, I can't make you. Let's try to get conscientiousness, and if a guy is flexible and adventurous, you will like the shrimp. Okay, no, I won't. I hate shrimp. I like the pizza. So she likes hot guys, strong jawlines. Strong jawlines mean testosterone, high testosterone. What'd you say? Brawn. A tough guy, a strong guy. It means good genes. Women, the beta male provider side, money, protection, they like that, but that doesn't get them aroused. The traits that get women aroused, that means sexual urgency, the alpha bang, she described it. Strong jawline, brawn and tough, able to do violence, whatever. So she doesn't even know about dual mating strategy, but let's keep going.
Actually did this experiment where he had everybody raise their hands if they were a straight male.
Okay, once again, she probably hadn't done a whole lot of. This is an old test. Her little Thai guy is not the one that thought of this. So you can go and look at the female delusional calculator. Go to I Got Standards, bro, and put in your numbers there and see how rare you are. Okay, a lot of times you put in not obese, not married. You're, let's say, 5'10". You make, let's say, $80,000, and it goes through the census, and it goes through CDC stats. It's pulling from these data marks, and it shows you how rare you are. And you'll be like, 7%, 2%. There's only 2% of men like you in the world, but women don't care about that, right? What they always say is women got a 400-point checklist until the alpha bang comes along, and they get rid of that whole thing. 400-point checklists are for beta males, okay? The alpha bang don't have no checklist. If she feels a certain way and he's hot, let's say he's only 5'8", but he just did something for her, that whole check. I needed a 6-foot guy. I need him. The guy make this much. No, he's hot as hell. Look at the Jeremy Meeks. I did one on that today. So anyway, let's keep going.
Single, and so you had about 100 men in this room raise their hands. And he was mimicking the average dating experience. So you go online, you're a straight woman, you want a straight man, single, and then he says, so how many of you are between the ages of 35 and 45? So let's say now you've got about 50 hands up.
Okay, but if the guy's banging hot at 50, you'll bet. Okay, but go ahead.
And he said, how many of you are Catholic?
Okay, but if the guy's banging hot, you won't care if he's Lutheran.
20 hands up. How many of you make over 200,000?
If the guy's banging hot, he can live with mom and ride a bike. Literally. You're not going to care. Jeremy Meeks made no money, had no status, and had 300 letters a day.
5 hands up. How many of you are 6 feet tall? 1 hand. So you can see that this completely diminishes our pool. So really
it diminishes your stupid list that you make. That's what it diminishes. Okay? And also, and again, I don't think she's lying or anything, but this is the public face. Okay? She's not going to tell you she bangs hot broke guys. That's her public face. And she's very pretty, and I thought she did very good in the Johnny Depp trial. I'm not going hard on her. Don't think because I, make opinions on somebody that I'm going hard on. I like this lady. I thought she did a damn good job on Johnny Depp trial. I think she's beautiful. Anyway, I just think her opinions on this dating stuff lacks some conscientiousness. Anyway, let's go.
In fact, the book he wrote is called The Science of Happily Ever After, and he talks about 3 wishes. Statistically speaking, you'll get married. If that's something you want, you're going to get married. Most people in society...
It's not about getting married, it's about staying married. But anyway, you can't be married, Anyway, 3 wishes and then you got to compromise. Nah, man, nah. Don't compromise and get married. Women will though, because women like to get married so bad sometimes.
But you really get.
That's why the
to
divorce
choose
rate.
3 things
That's why they
differently,
initiate
and
8%
then
of
you pull
divorces.
those down. And if you want hotness, height, and money, you might have a person who's a complete selfish asshole.
Okay, if you want hotness, height, and money, right? Now, she says a complete selfish asshole. Okay, a guy who has hotness, height, and money, he's a selfish asshole because he has options. Just like women are assholes to men they don't find attractive, and that's about 80% of men. You know? So if this guy has hotness, height, and money, he's not a selfish asshole. He's a self-concerned a guy that won't bend to your will. So you call him selfish, you call him a narcissist, whatever they want to call him. And you're going to have to do what he says, because if you don't, kick rocks. Go find another one of me, hot. That's what you like. That's what you were drawn to. That's what made your vajayjay wet. Okay? And that's what women love their vajayjay wet. Women love men who can make their vajayjay wet just by looking at them or talking to them, right? And they're never going to stop wanting that. You're never going to stop being able to, make a compromise that, I want a man that doesn't make my vajayjay wet. I want a man, let's keep going.
And that's where you think, like, are there those problems ones that you're going to be able to deal with just because the
So
person's
watch the
hot?
BS come up here.
Or
See if you
you're
can
gonna be
spot
so
it.
sick of their shit that you don't care how hot they are.
Okay.
So that's really what
Okay. So in 20 years, she just said, I'm sorry I covered that, but she said in 20 years, you might date the hotness, height guy, whatever, money guy. And in 20 years, you might be so sick of his crap. What? The fact that he won't do what you say? And maybe you won't be. Now that's probably, and again, I think a lot of times your language exposes you. Like if I say you can't have sex with a lady on a first date, and some player's like, come on, man. I expose myself because that means I have never done it. Let's just say, right? Now I think she exposed herself because, and say in 20 years the guy saw, because she's dated hot guys that won't give in to her needs or won't bend to her desire. And this happens to a lot of women, especially women like her who are successful, who are beautiful. And I think she got married later on in life, I'm not sure. But who have dated a lot of hot men, and they ain't gonna, the men want to be free. Men want to be independent, especially hot dudes. And they're not going to settle down with you. And that's probably what she's been frustrated with. But anyway, let's go on.
Your question was, how do we adjudicate this? How do we find somebody with these qualities?
Now, see if you can spot the BS on
What
this.
I can tell you is that I knew it was going to be hard, but I also know that I love science. And so if this was as sound as he said it was, I could do it. And
Yeah,
I
right.
knew that the biggest thing in my way was just to get rid of that evolutionary urge for hotness.
The biggest thing in your way was to get rid of what God created to make you attracted to the opposite sex. I mean, that's what, Now, if I went up to a lion, a female lion, and I said, you know what? Stop liking these big alpha dudes that win these fights over here. You want to make it long term? You need to go out with that skinny guy over there with bad mane. Go out with him. Why don't you go out with that guy? Or the mooses. I've seen moose. They fight too, but the big ones, the big bull moose fight, right? And they can die in these fights, right? But women watch these fights and they want to know who's going to win because they want the strongest one, right? So these are instinctual. She says, I got to get rid of those instinctual evolutionary desires that God put in me, so I want to bang. You're not going to make me not like pizza. You're just not going to, I can't, let me get rid of my desire, let me get rid of my taste buds that like pepperonis and like, melted cheese and tomato sauce, and let me like shrimp. Hold on, let me get this, hold on, I know I can do this. I believe in science. I got 3 wishes. That's what you just said. I get 3 wishes and then cut, whatever. Anyway, I'm getting a little silly. But that's how ridiculous is what she's saying. Now, let's keep going, watch. Watch the BS come
I
on.
met Ty. So I broke up with the person I was with that day. I moved back to California. I immediately got on Tinder. This was
What?
2015.
Okay, so she breaks up with a dude, and if And this, what again, your language exposes you. She immediately gets on Tinder. Why? Because she loves men. She loves the company of men. She don't want to go a day without a man. She don't want to go a day without talking to a man. She don't want to go a day without possibly banging a man. And I'm being serious. I'm not going. I love this lady. She's beautiful. So I'm not trying to go. I'm just saying this is, and I love women. This is who women are. I love that women love us. Now they don't admit they love us, but with her language, she's exposing. I mean, if you just kind of didn't care about men, like women try to say, oh, who needs a man? Who needs a man in their life? I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I want a man, but I don't need no man. Okay, well, then why couldn't this lady just go home, be single for like 2 or 3 months, and just chill, go get on your purpose. I mean, that's what a lot of guys got to do, but, but women, I'm going to get on Tinder. Okay, let's keep on. So she immediately gets on Tinder.
That was kind of it. And I also didn't know what I was doing. I was new to apps.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right there. That's the biggest. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying what I've experienced. This is what I've experienced on dating apps. This is what every woman says. Oh, I can't believe every woman I've talked to has just joined the app either today, and I'm the first one they're talking to, or yesterday. And they really haven't talked to anybody, and finally, when I asked them to call me, I'm the first one they even got to on the phone. It's been weird. They haven't liked it, so they're so glad they're talking to me now, and I'm so new to this thing. How are you using it? And you're like, bitch, I've seen you on Match, I've seen you on Bumble. They all on the same ones, we've all seen them, the circuit, Anyway, but, she's brand new. That's the biggest lie I always hear. And the other lie is, I don't have social media. Come on, ladies, stop lying about it.
Got on Tinder. I will tell you what. With that mindset that I didn't care about hotness, money, or height.
That is not a mindset. You care. I care about women that are young, hot, and sexy. I even like this lady. She's skinny. I like that. She got blonde hair. I like that. I like that. I think she's got a beautiful face. You ain't gonna make me not like this lady. I don't care how much you talk. There's a lot of beautiful women. I'm just saying. I'm just drawing a example. But I'm always gonna like, hot, beautiful women, and you're not gonna make me like an overweight lady, If this lady got fat, I would, so an obese one, Anyway,
As there were so many lovely eligible bachelors, and so I was just swiping away, swipe.
First
I
day.
was one of the first people to respond. He was online, and so was this male model, and the male model was that base.
The first guy to respond, why don't you just talk to him? But the male model, the hotness and height, she got it. You ain't gonna get rid of it. That pizza was in the oven and you were looking at it.
To me, I was just like, and you, even though you're putting up a lot of like ab pictures.
Oh, six-pack abs.
I lived this. And Ty, I didn't know what he actually looked like. He was wearing a giraffe costume on his.
A giraffe costume. She said, and again, I do like the way she talks about her husband here. She really talks him up, so I gotta give her that. Not like Diana Rossini, but she doesn't call her husband average. She calls this is how a woman should really talk about you. But your guy's wearing a giraffe costume. I mean, but the male model's like, putting himself out there. Usually, if you're hot, you're putting yourself all over there, just like hot ladies and ladies that are in good shape. They're in bikinis or whatever. Anyway, but she's talking to the male model. I thought the hotness thing was over.
Main picture, which I thought was funny, and there were some pictures of him working, but he had like hard hat stuff. So I really had no idea he was hot in Australia.
But who does she have the genuine burning desire for? She has a genuine burning desire for the male model. That's why she's still talking to him. Ty, I don't know who the other guy's name. I think it's Ty. I'm not sure. But the other guy is using beta male game, and he's becoming a friend. Listen to the word friend. You don't want to ever be a woman's friend. We know the friend zone sucks. But even still, she's like, I guess he wins her over. You never want to win a woman over. That's in my opinion. You want her to be aroused by you. Genuine burning desire.
6-2. I mean, I did win in this case. But I'm texting, I'm messaging him, I'm messaging this other guy. Ty is so
the male
wonderful,
model.
and he's just asking me these really intelligent questions. Sort of like this conversation, right?
Yeah, but really intelligent questions do not arouse a woman. Women want to be aroused. I mean, if you want to be seen as a beta male provider, you want to be in a sexless marriage, more than likely, Ask conscientious questions, ask deep conversations, talk about books and deep, whatever. But the male model ain't, listen to what he's doing. He's sending like some water splash emojis and telling her he wants to massage her, and she's not offended by it.
Those rare ones who has all of those qualities, ladies, watch out.
She just said that the host has all the qualities.
We're talking, you can tell. If you know what these three things are, I could just tell. I just needed to be aware of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was there.
When you're
And
aware of these
kind
three qualities,
in
conscientiousness, you no longer want the hot male model, six-pack abs with a big, huge dong. BS.
Meantime, this model.
Because your JJ gets wet on its own. You don't make it wet with your mind. You get hungry on your own. You don't make yourself hungry with your mind. There are involuntary processes going on in your body. One of them is sexual arousal. Your vajayjay don't get hot and sweaty over good, deep conversation.
Me like emojis of wet splashes.
Wet splashes.
Massage.
Male model.
Granted, I was on Tinder. I need to be fair,
But she didn't stop talking to him.
To the model. I just couldn't.
He was male. The male model was wet splashes and massages. That means he wants to bang, and she was not offended. Just letting you know.
But after about 24 hours, I was done with the model guy. Ty was just becoming this friend, and then something kind of scary happened.
Ty stuck around like a warm, I don't know what they say, like a old pair of underwear. He just didn't want to take off, I guess. He just kept talking and kept talking. The underwear just stayed there and got dirtier and dirtier. You just wanted to hang around, bro? Like, dude, come on. I hope he doesn't hear the story.
Later, and I realized I wanted to tell my friend about it, and that's how it evolved.
She wanted to tell her friend he was a friend. Wasn't thinking about banging him. Wasn't thinking about. I always say you want her to be your lover, but it's a friend. No, I don't want to be a woman's friend that she decided to have sex with. No. So anyway, she tried to sell this BS. I don't believe it. This is why you don't listen to women and their dating advice. They're not. This is a public face. They're never going to tell you how much they love to bang. Maybe privately, but I'm just saying the majority of women. How much do you love to bang? And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just all of them. Dr. Shannon Curry, how much do you love to bang? You like the hotness and height. You're talking to the male model with splashes and water splashes, and you love to bang, don't you? So why are you going to go out with a guy who is your friend and not the male? You have to have a genuine burning desire. Women love to be aroused. They love to get their JJ wet. They love to have orgasms with men they desire. Alpha bang guy is the guy who gets the sexual urgency from women. He's the one that gets the best of women, in my opinion. You don't want to be the friend that worked into being, her lover, I guess, right? If it happens, it happens. I mean, I'm not saying some guys have to be that. That's okay. If that's what you have to be, it's what you have to be. But my first choice would be the alpha bang. You want to be the guy that she's just hot over, right? Anyway, that's about all I got. Don't listen to women and their dating advice. Their image protectors, reputation managers. So at the end of what she was doing here, I like her. Don't think I was going in on her. I really like her. So anyway, see you on the next one.